Hey guys, welcome to the final episode of Bloodhunt Central before the release of the early access tomorrow. We've just had the patch notes drop, so we're just going to run through them and see what's changed with what they're officially releasing before the actual game launches tomorrow. So with that, let's just jump right in. So we've just had the early access notes released from the website, and we're going to go through them to make sense of them, to see what they have done. Now, we've had information in the past, over the past week or so, of what they've been doing. They gave it a load of information to us on the live stream the other night, and this is just going to be basically in writing. Think of it as a clean slate. This is what they've done from the closed alpha going into the release. Now, it's nice to see it up just before the release. If you don't know the time they're aiming for, we've had it confirmed that it's going to be around 10 a.m. CST, but this is a loose time. Anything can happen on the initial release of an early access, so if we're a little bit later, then they've probably run into an issue or two which they are trying to fix. The first thing on here is key bindings. We all know that they had issues with the key bindings and how we couldn't do anything with them in the alpha. I used IQ myself to change the key bindings to how I like them, so I was using a lot on my mouse and such like that. So it's nice to see that we've got the movement keys and the consumable keys fixed, basically, so that we can change them to however we want, and the localized keyboards like the French keyboard and such will be able to function better than what they did in the alpha. They also fixed a bug with the pickup interaction and feed button, which happened if it got changed, so hopefully all of them are going to work properly. And they've also added a few additional default keys to the free turn camera, the gas neutralizer, and the toggle map. So they've changed a couple of them and also given an additional one to the actual key binding toggle map. Bits of gameplay that they've changed. They've changed the red gas, the time that it takes to mid-game. Or from what they're saying, they've changed it throughout the game, but specifically in the mid-game. There were times in the alpha where you'd be sitting around waiting. If there was like 4 or 5 of you left in the mid-game, then you could just sit there for a couple of minutes not seeing anybody, especially if you were like the Prowler and you were just sending out your bat sonar ability. You could just be pinging it off anywhere to see if you could find anybody. You've also been able to invite your friends now, so there's going to definitely be the trio queue. In the alpha you'd only got solo queue, so now it is going to be open to everything. Next, we've got the Lifesteal that's been added to the melee weapons. This got announced today, and it's quite shocking to see how big of a return, or how much it converted from damage into health. So it's going to be giving you a whopping 50%. So for example, if you hit for 20 damage, you're going to be getting 10 back. 50 damage, you're going to be getting 25 back. So it's going to be interesting to see how the tiers go up, because I think from memory, I think the Scourge Blade can do 40. No, melee can do 40, just fists. So it all depends on how they level and how they balance the more rarer weapons. Issues have been answered in regards to an anti-cheat, so there will be one that is released with the early access, and they're going to be using it to develop their detection methods. So there may be a prompt for Windows to do an update for the actual anti-cheat. So if that comes up, make sure you update it. I don't know if it's going to or how it's going to work if you don't update it. I'm sure there'll be a notification or something that says it needs to be updated to be able to play, but there is going to be an anti-cheat in there, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Now, there's nothing like some known issues going into a game or when we receive a patch, but with us going into early access, it's good to know that they do know and that they're still trying to fix them. So transversal came up in the alpha. There was some times where you would jump from a wall to a car, or do something that looked absolutely amazing, but then you get stuck in animation and then you get shot in the head for your troubles. So it's nice to know that they're working on it, especially in there are still several places where it'll happen, but there was also an issue when you left the game early, and you'd end up floating in the air. So best thing for the workaround for that, restart your client, and you'll be able to move around again. Text and localizations, there are multiple languages that they're trying to support, so in some cases there might be missing text or incorrect text. If you find anything, make sure that you send a bug report in to say where the issue is and what's wrong if something happens in your local language. And one question that's getting asked a lot as well, gamepad support. While there is gamepad support, it's still not fully implemented yet, and they are working to improve on it, but they recommend playing keyboard and mouse. If you play on a gamepad, good for you. Let me know how they are, because I want to know how the gamepad users are. So while we have friends and that we can do trios, there are a few issues in regards to adding friends and being in the same instances or the same Elysium instances as your friends. We're unable to add Steam friends as SharkMob account friends. So that the workaround for that is to add the SharkMob account instead of adding the Steam friends. Also, restarting the game if your group gets split up in between instances, and to rejoin will help get you all into the same Elysium instance. There may be names that are incorrectly spelt or shown in the Elysium social tab. The last bit is if a player changes group and ends up in the wrong Elysium session, then to restart the game and go from there. It's all going to be teething issues with these systems. The alpha was to test like the core functionality, the servers and everything like that. So we're going into an early access now. While this isn't a full release, it does mean that it is a work in progress game as we go on. And it's nice that they chose to do the early access instead of just holding off until another beta or a hard launch kind of thing. Now, one thing I quite like in regards to our next bit on the patch notes, and that was with the challenges of resetting if the player quits a game mid-match. So when you are doing a quest or a mission, or however they're going to show them in game, if you've made any progress during that and then you rage quit from your match, you won't keep that progress. Only when you die you'll be able to exit the game and keep any progress you may have. And it may be within trios as well. As you're in a trio group, you'll be able to be rezzed, so make sure that you stick around to get your res. There are different places throughout the game where you can get rezzed, and I don't believe, don't quote me on this, I'm just going off some videos that I've seen in the past, that there are select areas where you're going to be able to spawn, and you don't need to like do what you do in Apex, get to your friend and take a transceiver or something like off them to get them to spawn in. You should just be able to go up to the spawn location and get them back into the game. So make sure you stick around, and you might be able to get that extra win if you can get a sneaky res. And the final bit is there is VoIP, which is interesting. We've been asking for quite a while if there was going to be VoIP in the game. If you don't know what VoIP stands for, it stands for voice over IP. It means it's basically in-game voice. It's the same thing. If you're unable to connect to the VoIP servers when playing in a group, then restart your client and regroup your friends, and it should fix it. So those are mostly the workarounds and everything like that. It's going to be interesting to see when they have a lot more players in the game and what issues they may find, or how the server stability might take a hit. But then again, they want us to break the server, and hell, tomorrow I'm going to try and do it anyway. As I was editing this, I came across something on Twitter that I wanted to bring everybody's attention to, and it's something I'm surprised myself actually that I've never mentioned in any of my previous videos. The game is free. I've said this numerous times in my videos. However, there are some sites, some cheap key selling sites, you know, where you go to get your cheap discounted games kind of thing, that are selling access passes and everything like that for like 15-20 bucks or stuff like that. Don't get suckered into it. Outstar from the World of Darkness brand community team has said this on Twitter, and she's actually been picked up by Kotaku. I can't say that word. So yeah, just make sure that you don't get sucked into buying a game that you have no need to buy. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Please consider hitting the like and subscribe button and following us on Twitter for future videos. I'll be streaming tomorrow because of the early access from about 8 a.m. BST or 9 a.m. CST if you want to keep it within the game release window. Please come and join me and hang out. We'll have a chat about Bloodhunt, see what everybody's waiting for. But with that, guys, I'll see you in Prague tomorrow. Take care.